I think it was quite straight, but I remember it being a bit wide at the bottom. It's totally exhausted me. I can't believe all what you've remembered and all the details and everything. The way they did it, it helps your memory, really. Makes you sit and think, and you're not under any pressure of hurrying up.
It was clear that she'd had a really good view, for a number of minutes of this man. He'd not in any way tried to hide his face.
Clear skin, clean shaven, fair complexion.
It was decided, as opposed to showing photos or video ID at this stage, to get an e-fit to see if anybody in the public would know who this man was.
e-fit is a computerised replacement of the identikit and photo-fit systems. Based on the knowledge that we are better at recognising whole faces rather than individual features. A description of the suspect is fed into the computer, which comes up with an entire face. Unlike earlier systems where fixed features had to be placed together to make a composite. e-fit also allows the witness to manipulate the size and position of the facial features in relation to each other, resulting in a more accurate likeness. Just 72 hours after the crime took place, Louise had completed an e-fit of the man who threatened her during the robbery. To her surprise, the resulting image was an amazing likeness of the man who attacked her.
Get him!
I knew that the e-fit was like 99%. It was him.
After the e-fit was circulated, the police got several tip-offs that the robber might be a man known to them. A man with previous convictions for violent robbery, Casey Miller. But this could only be confirmed if Louise were to pick him out in an identity parade. As we know, live identity lineups are now considered flawed, as witnesses tend to make relative decisions and feel obliged to pick someone, whether they actually recognize them or not. So the lineup Louise viewed was electronic, like this one, where a picture of the suspect is placed with similar faces and shown to her sequentially.
At the time, Miller was on the run from the police. It was becoming harder and harder to find him. Louise looked at the ID parade, viewed it at a certain time and said, "It's number 5." And it was him. The interviewing officers who interviewed Miller were stunned when they sat in front of him and saw the e-fit.
I couldn't believe how I'd got it so right.
The case went to court. With inconclusive DNA evidence, Louise's eyewitness testimony that Casey Miller led the robbery at her house was crucial to the prosecution case.
Court process was a bit scary. His barrister was really at me, and I thought, you're not getting me.
Get him!
I wanted to make sure that I convinced the jury because I knew I was 100% that it was him.
The jury was convinced, and Miller was sent to jail.
The cognitive interview was crucial in this case. We had no forensics, no CCTV, and the only eyewitness we had was Louise. So the interview got out of her testimony, which then led to the e-fit, which in the end led to the conviction.
It is absolutely essential that when a conviction is secured, it is a safe conviction, underpinned by good testimony from witnesses who've been processed in a proper way.
Over the course of our eyewitness series, we've gained an understanding of how our memories work.
Now I'm trying to remember it.
It's a very colourful picture. We'd like you to make it look as much like you remember it. And you've been given a set of black, yellow, blue.
We recruited 10 volunteers who thought they were only taking part in a documentary about memory and turned them into key and significant eyewitnesses. During 2 elaborately staged violent crimes, we secretly recorded and captured every piece of action, so that we could compare what our witnesses remembered seeing with what actually happened. And we've seen through their eyes just how fallible memory can be.
Sunglasses. Yeah, he had sunglasses on.
We've discovered that we can be all too easily mistaken.
The guy like, in the high-vis jacket was just standing over this other guy, kicking him.
Knock him out! If it's the female, it was the second one. We put the security man on the floor. I'm not 100% with that.
And we've shown the perils of eyewitness identification.
I recognise number 4.
Number 10 looks familiar.
I think number 7 was the chap who was just jumping about.
It's very difficult to say.
Number 2.
I'm pretty sure number 2.
There have been tears, laughter.
I'm trying not to look there.
I'm just looking all over the place.
And utter disbelief.
Fortunately, the lad who was attacked here has died at hospital. So it's just to let you know how serious this is, all right? So we're taking it very seriously.
I mean, it's a bit of a cheat that putting hairband. I've never had hair like that. Never in my life.
Do you want the registration number?
Yes, please.
November Golf, 58, and then it was Victor X-ray Whiskey.
As we have seen, there is no such thing as a perfect memory. But with modern police techniques based on science, witness testimony is today more reliable than ever before. So how did our volunteers find this unique experience?
And I found that I've got quite a good memory for some things and absolutely atrocious for other things. So it's been a really, really good experience.
Being honest, I didn't realise it was a setup until the very end.
I don't think I've ever had to sort of analyse or think back about something in so much detail before.
I actually feel quite privileged to have been asked to contribute, and I've learnt an awful lot about myself.
And I think it was fantastic, really. The thoroughness.
It's hard to tell what is actually my memory and what is actually my mind filling in gaps.
It certainly has opened my mind up to be more vigilant and to be more observant.
Perhaps if I did see something in real life, I would probably make notes on it immediately just to make sure that I don't forget it by the time the police actually ask me.
We could not exist if it wasn't for witnesses. They're the lifeblood of investigators. They're so important to everything we do that we need them. Without them, we're nothing.